Greetings, my fellow freedom lovers and sovereign thinkers. Thank you for tuning to LL3 Podcast. My name is Craig, transmitting from the beautiful swampy Mangler, South Florida. And today's date is July 6th, Monday, July 6th, 2020. So let us begin. Yeah, pretty funny. Did the intro and the wind starts kicking in, yeah? Oh my goodness. All right, hold on here. All right. Had a little wind break there. But, yeah, I'm doing all right, folks. And making sure everyone had a very good Independence Day. Other people went on the beach. No one got arrested. Ain't that great? So I saw videos of that. And next time, the Trump supporter, so when doing the national anthem, make sure you have the American flag on top. So if you want to put the Trump 2020 flag, that's fine as well. But you should never have a flag, Trump any flag, higher than the United States. And I say that in good faith. Star Spangled Banner, and the person had a Trump flag, and everyone's pledging to that. That's what it looks like. But at least they went out there and go, no, you're not going to tell us what to do. And I commend them for that. Of course, fireworks are going crazy all over the United States. Even in Fort Lauderdale, it kept going to like maybe 3, 4 in the morning on July 5th. And then there was I see a big firework display, video footage in California. And I like it when the news, it was KCAL, illegal fireworks. Penile microphone to that reporter and the teleprompting buffoon, because you've all been lying to the people. That's the problem. And they have exercised their right in that state under Article 1, Section 1 of their state constitution. So it's not illegal. There's no victim. How's that a crime? Yeah, and of course they got one of the Zionist whorebags' birthday, Jorge W. Bush. His birthday's today. Sorry to hear about that. Another man who bends over for the New World Order, of course. So, and one of my union brothers have passed, Glenn Belford. May his soul be forever free. And that's like, well, it's been pretty breezy out here. Hopefully everyone's paying attention. I've been checking on David Hodges' show, The Common Sense. He's very good, and always encourage to tell the folks, go to alternative medias and examine information responsibly. I don't care how they do it on CNN. And who cares what Colin Kaepernick thinks? He has his right to free speech too, but please have some facts to back up your views to everyone else. And I'm still waiting for it. It looks like the owner from the Washington Redskins football team, the city that looks like the DC area, goes, "You gotta change that name." And it's fun because I won't be surprised if those delegates are a bunch of freedom-hating scumbags anyway. You know why? Because they say, well, that name is offensive. No, your actions as an elected servant in the District of Columbia is obscene. I'm just waiting for that they start changing the names. Like they should call up all the commissioners from the NFL, MLB, all these sports organizations. Imagine the National Basketball Association to the Marxist Basketball Association, or Marxist League Baseball, Marxist Football League, Marxist Hockey League, or Marxist League Soccer. Think about that. Yeah. Hey, they want censorship. They want oppression. They want to suppress the people's minds. Call them what they are. Marxist sympathizers. That's right. And the Marxist mascot, right? Mascot. Yeah, it's a NASCAR called mascot. Right, exactly. There you go. Marxist automobile, sports car racing, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, mascot. We can use that too. All right, so it's always got. I'm like laughing at these people and the cancel culture. Boring. Oh, we got to censor the people from South Park. They're offensive. Boring. I have nothing else better to do. I'm so unoriginal. I'm a her conformist. I wear a cowbell around my neck.
represent a walking anti-measure. I'm offended. How dare you have creative control on your own shows? I'm going to tell you how to do it. I'm a complete failure.
That's right.
I'm a weak and pathetic douchebag. I want things handed to me.
That's right. That's what they want us to do. Go,
I'm a trophy kid. I want things given to me. I'm flamboyant. Give me a red carpet now. I'm going to have a spaz.
It's something to think about, folks. When I hear all this crap, that's why if you see me at a restaurant, they have the idiot box, I'll be laughing at it. And how about that show in the American Spirit? They'll have the Marxist Move. They have Black Lives Matter, which is a Marxist organization. Oh, that's the spirit of America. Awful, stupid, lousy. Yep, NBC. Now it's called instead of NBC, it'd be called MBC, Marxist Broadcasting Corporation, the Marxist Broadcasting Company. Yeah, it's going on Marxist frenzy. I want to praise a man who's a bankster's bitch. Yeah, I'm just ranting right now. I just have so much fun watching these things. This is the reason. I don't get angry. I get inspired because I'm not like them. I don't look like them, think like them, nor smell like them. And I'm pretty damn proud of it. Those little people that those considered attributes get offended, I don't care. Ha 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 ha. Yes, being a little juvenile at times, and I am digressing. But the bottom line is this. What happened on this past Saturday is inspiring. There's a lot of cloak and daggering going on. There's even threats of a potential invasion from all sides. Lord willing, hopefully that's not the case. You got to be vigilant. You have to be ready at the best of your abilities. President Trump is not going to help you. Military is being thin. We need to bring them back here. This whole imperial faction game. Who has the bigger stick? That's what you got to look at. And I have to agree with Hodges on this. Xi Jinping is just a pawn. He has people around him that hate his guts too. There's a lot of infighting going on in politics, whether it's foreign or domestic. This is how it is. The nature of the beast. Power corrupts. Because they have an entitlement thing, they believe everything should be given to them, but we all need to kiss the floor they walk on. Forget about that. Of course, Ted Deutsch. Happy Independence Day. We got more government programs. Yeah, tyranny. I saw something about Chris Hall about Independence Day. Hopefully he shares it with his family. He just did that to me because I'm a tyrant. Yeah. That's how much homage I have for him as a congressman. Not my congressman. So elections are coming up. Curious about who's running for sheriff. I need to take the initiative on doing that. I could be lackadaisical too. But always gotta take actions regardless. Can't happen. These people playing video games. Well, okay, so you're going to sit there and just stick your thumb up your butt, right? That's out of love. What are you going to do to make things better? Something to question. Something to contemplate over. Yeah, here's a construction in the background. I'm in like the financial center district of Fort Lauderdale. So, cool little place. So I may even hear some stuff in the background. Vehicles and all that, garage. Supposed to be some restaurant over here. HMR is supposed to be opening up soon, but due to COVID-19, it's all been a whole song and dance. Yeah. Look, reading that Ghislaine Maxwell arrest. I I gotta attest to the true pundit when he calls himself Thomas Paine, 1776. How I knew about him, he follows me on Twitter. Mike Cool, so I follow him. And he has some good stuff too. Bottom line, like I told folks, when I podcast, it's not trying to see how much money I can make and all that good stuff. Just putting the message out, the principle. That's what's great about technology. You can utilize it to liberate humanity. But all right, enough of my ranting. I've digressed a good period of time here. But you know what? That's okay. I know you guys still put up with me for all these years. You hear the wind in the background. Yeah, I'm an outdoor guy. Being in my camper would be very boring. So, one moment. All right, cool. So I'm gonna do a few articles I'm gonna check out here. And by the way, that's TeknoAXE doing until your engine stops to. Give them a little love as well. So yeah, but I'll be doing a few articles here. Why not? Hear the wind in the background. Okay, nature, be nice to me. I love your breeze, but you're affecting my microphone. Okay. All right. This one came from the Organic Prepper. It came out today. The second wave, regardless of what you think about the virus, things are about to change. Yes. In the Orwellian matter, please, big brother, I will give me the shot, and that will be, now wear a shackle and chain forever. This is what Toby Coleman has to say about it. It's important not to work on assumptions. It's very easy for us to think about points, but then conclude. Everybody knows that. Everybody sees that. Everybody's already understood that. Working from that position undermines that as possible people haven't seen or acknowledged or observed certain things. So this is just a basic outlook. Let's take stock of where are we now. The larger focus is still on a pandemic, but also making sure we look at some aspects on either side of the fact. Regardless of your personal opinion about the virus, things will change for everyone with the second wave. First, there's going to be a second wave. First, we need to accept there's going to be a second viral wave. That is inevitable. That is absolutely inevitable. Now, regardless of your feelings on how bad the pandemic is, how lethal the virus is, what you think of the statistics and the reporting, etc., I'm not going to say that's irrelevant, but I'm going to say that it doesn't undermine is the fact there's going to be a second wave. Secondly, for any virus that spreads in the general population spread, there's always a risk of mutations. So just because we couldn't say it hasn't potentially been that bad until now, that doesn't mean that the status quo is going to stay the same. And he's right on that. So let's first acknowledge those two things. Now here's what's important about that. Looking at historical trend analysis, which is fairly substantive, the second wave is always going to be the worst than the first. Not only in infection and fatality numbers, but also in overall impact. And why is that? The fact is the number spike will largely be due to people's actions as they come out of the lockdown of wave one. We're already seeing that. People are understandably demonstrating their frustration and venting their concerns, gathering in large groups, not following certain advice to minimize the potential infection spread. That's something, and it's happening worldwide. It's not exclusive to any country. Many countries are suffering from the same problem. This isn't speculative. You can all see this occurring with our own eyes. So these actions are going to be reflected in wave two infection numbers. For those countries already into the second wave, you can see that wave one is being dwarfed. For those that are not into the wave two yet, don't worry. Unfortunately, you'll catch up in time. And guess what government measures? It's from the organicprepper.com, by the way. So if I haven't said that, I apologize. Now, the control measures that the government will try to utilize for wave two will initially be the same action as wave one, but they won't be as readily accepted by the vast majority of the population that came from wave one. People are tired, they are frustrated and angry, and they are scared, largely due to exceptionally irresponsible media action. That's why I tell folks, observe responsibly. So now it gets a bit more Wild West as the policy for Wave 2 tries to replicate the policy for Wave 1, but the general populace is not as inclined to comply as it previously was. That will vary from region to region and country to country as to how vehemently these measures will be pushed back against. The other things to consider is that people have now had far longer and got far more information to make up their mind on how they feel about certain things. People went into Wave 1 really in the dark. They are able to look at the historical pandemic examples, but not much more. Now, people have read up and formed their own opinion and begun crystallize their own thought processes and will act or refuse to act accordingly. The supply chain, all the problems that occurred in Wave 1 will reoccur in Wave 2, possibly with more consequences and or potentially with deeper meaning. Let's start with the supply line. The weakening of the supply lines that has occurred, the lack of certain products, the panic buying and herd mentality, that's all still there, and large parts still unsolved and is going to happen again. It's inevitable. Things are not going back to normal. I hate to say it, but people in packs follow very set scripts. They are very predictable in their behavior. That is why we can make statements such as these with good authority. As much as the suppliers are trying to assure us Wave 1 was well managed and not that bad, reports from the various places are showing the contradiction that there is, and will be impact on the supply line. It's true. You see the shutdown of meat packing plants, not just the United States, but China, Canada, Brazil. It's worldwide. Okay, just give me an example. And even people are tossing the potatoes away because all the spuds and so forth. So this is more like a neo-mercantilism form of economy, control. Pretty fascistic, too, on the side. So I'll continue on here. Next one here is financial problems. Now there's a twofold solution to these problems we are highlighting. One is just to keep preparing, to always be prepared, and keep chipping away bit by bit, making your purchases, keep your stocks up. But unfortunately, a lot of people got massive economic hits in Wave 1, so many are likely limited in their financial ability prepare via purchase, that we fully understand and sympathize with. Things are going to be different for most of us. Managing expectations. That brings us to a point, and I would apply this across the board regardless of your current situation, is you need to start managing your own and your immediate family expectations. You need to start thinking in the terms of this. As supplies dwindle and prices increase, we need to eat more supply simply to accept things as they are. We might have to eat less meat, or in fact, we might just eat less food. Period. Well, as I say, in that time, folks, if you can do it, start growing your own garden. Hey, I'm ready to do that too, so we're on the same boat, my friends, okay? Period. This is very challenging because you are still naturally want to push back to get that normalcy. You'll think, why should I have to insert selected discomfort here? Unfortunately, far too many people in the prepper sphere was preparing on the basis of my lifestyle is never going to be interrupted no matter what. When we're into a long-term scenario such as this pandemic, there are going to be uncomfortable impacts for everybody. There will be a point when you start to feel the impact after you've gone as far as you can in your familiar lifestyle and kept to your original standards for as long as possible. If we are being honest, many of you are already at this point. As much as you can adjust your mental attitude early and acknowledge and start to accept that the impact is happening or coming and will worsen, it positions you to be a far more resilient further into this pandemic, because that, folks, is where we are. We are a long way from the end of this. We can't relax our preparations. I've been having a number of very interesting online conversations lately And the phrase that keeps reoccurring is that we've been given a slow-burning virus in the modern, insane-paced world. It seems that everybody wants to have a simple, quick zombie apocalypse, and in 2 weeks it's all over. Then we go from there, rebuild and move on. Sorry, but there's nothing fast about true pandemics in overall terms. This is going to be around for some time, and everybody's going to have to adapt, overcome, improvise, and all that good stuff. And the sooner we start wrapping our heads around that, the better. Adding this, while focusing on the pandemic, we can't forget the relevant regional or seasonal issues we would normally prepare for. For an example, we're now entering into a very high risk for wildfires here. Where I live in Sweden, other folks will be bracing for tornado seasons, hurricane or flooding seasons, or different natural occurrences. So we can't just fixate on just one thing. That's never what preparedness has been about. We have to deal with the pandemic, yes, but we must be looking at these other issues as well, being aware and maintaining our preparation accordingly, rounding off, topping up, adjusting like we normally try to do for every season of every year, and ideally a little bit beyond. What to do right now? Now is not the time to get caught up in the immediacy of whatever the media wants you to focus on first. It's time to stop and take a concerted, long view of where you perceive you will be on the 6 to 12 months from now. As an actionable activity, I would advise everybody to take a pause and definitely turn off the television. I would advise you to give yourself 24 hours totally off social media and media of any sort at some point this week. Give yourself the time, space, and places to think, sit down, and acknowledge the situation you're at personally. Think about your long-term plans in earnest. That is true. Selco and I have been doing this for the last few weeks. We've had very intense discussions with our spouses, near relatives, friends, and extended family. We've been coming up with contingencies, A, B, and C, thinking about what our long-term plans are and where are we in all of this. If you haven't already done so, now it's time to be doing this. You need to be having these conversations with loved ones as well. Please don't make those conversations too oppressive. Remember, everybody's having a hard time right now. Have big conversations, but please just go as easy as you approach these subjects. Don't ignore them. Don't put them off. Don't rip them into with such tenacity that it'll shut down other parties' interest in the discussion. TLDR, keep the longevity of our current situation, keep preparing, adopt a new level of resilient mindset that will embrace discomfort, take a concerted pause to assess your long-term goals, ensure you communicate with those around you in a clear, concise, but empathetic manner. Love it. So he's absolutely right, man. Always good to know these things, my friends. Even an individual like myself, I've been a ragtag maverick for a long time. I don't have a big fancy home or an apartment. I live in a little rinky-dink camper. Not perfect, but you know what? I got a roof over my head. And I knew how to communicate with my neighbors in the area. Whereas business or personal, they know me around there, including law enforcement. And it's pretty damn cool. Because how you talk to folks. This is like you gotta do the same thing with this second wave. Which is there was never really a second wave in my view, but I understand what he's saying about supposed to be more lockdowns coming around the world in the United States. I believe in caucuses, little caucuses with your family, friends, extended families. A lot of your good friends are like your extended brothers and sisters. That's cool. I'm the same way. So that's why you always gotta be vigilant on your health too. Not just listen what the CDC has to say, wash your hands. That's pathetic. A lot of them are been bought and paid for. I know Fauci's only a puppet. He's owned by the big pharma for over 40 years is so obvious. That's why it's always good to know about superfoods, nutrition, herbs, awesome minerals, not the ones that's synthetically made, but natural remedies. Those always should be on your memo. Trust me, I know these things. Had issues with bronchitis in the past, but I learned to counter it with super herbs and minerals and all that, and I've been very good. Now I'm blessed about that. That's what I'll tell people. Remain vigilant on your health, period. Speaking of that, this one article here inspired me. I'm going to read it. It's from Mercola.com, which is mainly about your health. Excuse me here. And this one here is entitled Curcumin inhibits virus-induced cytokine storm. Mainly about COVID-19 here. Story at a glance. Curcumin inhibits COVID-19 main protease, a potential drug target. Curcumin also has a inhibitory effect on virus-induced cytokine storms, which occur as a result of an overproduction of immune cells and pro-inflammatory cytokines and modulates immune responses, meaning it could upregulate and downregulate immune responses as needed. According to scientific review, curcumin can be used as a therapeutic agent against pneumonia, acute lung injury, and acute respiratory distress syndrome resulting from coronavirus infection. Curcumin has also direct antiviral activity against many viruses, including SARS-CoV. Other beneficial effects that suggest curcumin may be suitable in the treatment of COVID-19, including elevating exudation and edema, initiating lung injury, reducing airway inflammation, inhibiting proliferation of bronchial epithelial cells, improving pneumonia, elevating fibrosis, and improving lung index. Curcumin. I might be butchering the word. So I'm going to have to see if I can pronounce this later on. I'll just be honest, folks. There's times I just wing it here, okay? That's what I've done in this particular show today. Curcumin is the active ingredient in the spice turmeric. As a solid foundation in science, numerous studies vouching for its inflammatory effects. Noted in a 2017 review in Journal Foods, curcumin aids in the management of oxidative and inflammatory conditions, metabolic syndrome, arthritis, anxiety, and hyperlipidemia. Most of these benefits can be attributed to its antioxidant, and anti-inflammatory effects. Along with other supplements, curcumin has also been identified as a particular benefit against COVID-19. According to the paper, potential inhibitor of COVID-19 main protease from several medicinal plant compounds by molecular docking study posted March 13, 2020 on preprints.org. Curcumin and deoxycurcumin were two compounds among several that we found to inhibit COVID-19 and Pro. As noted, designed of improved drugs for COVID-19 or COVID-19 and Pro as a potential drug target because of the crystal structure of Mpro provides a basis for design for a potent inhibitor to the protease with a marked tropism to the lung. Studies have also shown curcumin has an inhibitory effect on virus-induced cytokine storms, which occur as a result of an overproduction of immune cells, and pro-inflammatory cytokines. This too suggests that may be of a particular Excuse me about that. Maybe suggests that maybe a particular use against COVID-19, considering the cytokine storm triggered in the severe and critical COVID-19 infection, is what ends up killing these patients. Interesting there, see? Curcumin is a potential therapeutic against COVID-19. Most recently, scientific review in Frontiers in Cells and Developmental Biology, published June 12, 2020, reports curcumin might be useful in cases of severe viral pneumonia such as COVID-19. According to the authors, coronavirus infections including SARS-CoV, MERS-CoV, and SARS-CoV-2 causes daunting diseases that can be fatal because of lung failure and systemic cytokine storm. The development of coronavirus-evoked pneumonia is associated with excessive inflammatory responses in the lungs, known as cytokine storms, which results in pulmonary edema, which is heart disease, atelectasis, and acute lung injury, or ALI, or fatal acute respiratory distress syndrome, ARDS. You know who died of pulmonary edema? According to the reports, the late Anton LaVey, the founder of the Church of Satan, around October 29th, 1997, at St. Mary's Hospital in San Francisco. Just giving you what that means. So, fluid in the heart. No drugs are available to suppress only immune response, mediated lung injury effectively in the light of low toxicity and its antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, and antiviral activity. It is plausible to speculate that curcumin could be used as a therapeutic drug for viral pneumonia and ALI/ARDS. Okay. Therefore, in this review, we summarize the mounting evidence obtained from preclinical studies using animal models of lethal pneumonia, where curcumin exerts protective effects by regulating the expression with both pro and anti-inflammatory factors, promoting the apoptosis of PMN cells and savaging the reactive oxygen species, ROS, which exacerbates the inflammatory response. These studies provide a rationale that curcumin can be used as a therapeutic agent against pneumonia and ALI/ARDS in humans resulting from coronavirus infection. Curcumin inhibits cytokine storm, as we discussed in the Frontiers in Cells and Development Biology review. Curcumin has a long history of medicine use. Without overt side effects, studies have demonstrated it has potential antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, anti-cancer, anti-diabetic activity, and clinical trials have shown efficacy in the treatment of cardiovascular diseases, metabolic syndrome, type 2 diabetes, and infectious disease, especially viral infections. In the light of its preventive and therapeutic role in viral infection and cytokine storms common to a viral infection, curcumin could conceivably be considered as an attractive agent for the management of coronavirus infections. Well, one important mechanism behind curcumin's beneficial effects is its ability to modulate immune responses, meaning it can both upregulate and downregulate immune responses as needed, according to the authors. At least 4 published between 2018 and 2020 suggest curcumin inhibits virus-induced cytokine storms. These include a 2018 study in the International Immunopharmacology Journal, which showed curcumin inhibits influenza A virus replication and influenza-induced pneumonia. It also activates the NRF2 signaling pathways, inhibits oxidative stress and improves influenza-induced ALI in vivo. A 2018 study in the Journal of Food and Drug Analysis, which found curcumin effectively inhibits influenza A infection. A 2019 study in Frontiers in Microbiology, which highlighted curcumin's antiviral activity against the influenza virus, hepatitis C, and HIV. A 2020 study in the International Journal of Molecular Sciences that reported curcumin has the ability to block herpes simplex virus type 2, HSV2 infection, and inhibited production of inflammatory cytokines and chemokines in vitro. Interesting there. So, like this, my friends, like I said this before, every infection, whether it is natural or synthetic, has an Achilles heel. So it says about curcumin's mechanism of action. As far for how curcumin inhibits the cytokine storm and modulates immune function, the Frontier in Cells and Development Biology reviews explains there is self-evidence of coronavirus-infected patients with both high cytokine levels and pathological changes in the lungs. For example, in plasma of COVID-19 patients, high concentrations of IL-2, IL-6, and IL-7 has been observed. In particular, IL-6 was significantly elevated in critically ill patients with ARDS compared to patients without ARDS or ARDS, and was statistically significantly correlated with death. Numerous in vitro studies have been shown that curcumin and its analogs markedly inhibit the production and the release of these pro-inflammatory cytokines such as L1, L2, L6, L8, TNF. Interesting there, right? Curcumin also decreases expression of many other inflammatory mediators, which regulate the activity of immune cells and inflammatory responses and promote fibrosis in lung after infection. The mechanism underlying curcumin modulation of inflammation has been extensively investigated and engages diverse signaling pathways. Among the NFB plays an essential role. It was reported that curcumin effectively regulates NFB signaling through multiple mechanisms. First, curcumin inhibits activation of IKK with the PI-B. Second, curcumin enhances the expression of stability of 1kBA. Third, curcumin activates APMK. Has been documented that curcumin blocks NFKB signaling upon infection with influenza A virus or AIV. As a consequence of AMPK activation, fourth, curcumin acts on P65 to disturb the NFB pathway. The infection with IAV led to the decrease of P65 in the cytosol of macrophages and a corresponding increase in the nucleus where it forms a functional complex with NFB, ultimately upregulating transcript of inflammatory cytokines. In contrast, the use of curcumin blocks the nuclear translocation of NFB and P65, downregulating transcript of the cytokine genes. In the contrast to its negative effect on pro-inflammatory molecules, curcumin has been shown to regulate anti-inflammatory cytokines positively, in particular IL-10. The latter is an essential negative regulator for inflammatory responses. You can see the IL-10 acts on inflammatory monocytes to reduce the release of TNF, IL-6, and ROS, thereby elevating tissue damage caused by continuous inflammatory response. Curcumin notably attenuates lung injury by inducing the differentiation of regulatory T cells or TREGs and upregulating IL-10 production. Here's the thing I figured you can look at this map here, the figure 2, shows you all about it. Very interesting stuff. So, and it's good to know these things. And don't worry, I'll always leave my footnotes on my Spreaker page, and you can check it out. Very interesting stuff here. So, let me see how far this baby goes. Oh yeah, almost done. Almost done. Curcumin has antiviral activity. Curcumin has also direct antiviral activity, including against SARS-CoV, or coronavirus responsible for SARS, as demonstrated in a 2007 study. Several studies have elaborated on this antiviral mechanism with frontier cells and developmental biology listed as direct targeted vital proteins, inhibiting particle production and gene expression, blocking viral attachments to cells, possibly by disrupting the fluidity of the viral envelope, blocking viral entry into the cell, blocking viral replication. Curcumin binds strongly to hemagglutinin, which is HA, a glycoprotein that allows the influenza to attach to the cell. Research has shown curcumin interacts with HA, thus disturbing the integrity of the viral membrane. This blocks the viral binding it to the host and prevents the virus from entering the cell. Curcumin has also been shown to directly inactivate certain strains of influenza viruses. There's a big list of here about other pulmonary benefits of curcumin. All right, other beneficial effects suggest curcumin may be suitable in the treatment of COVID-19, including elevating exudation of proteins to alveolar spaces, attenuating lung injury, disrupting airway remodeling by inhibiting the proliferation of bronchial epithelial cells, elevating Ali-induced pulmonary fibrosis, elevating lung edema triggered by inflammation, reducing the degree of airway inflammation, improving pneumonia and preventing development of severe pneumonia, improving lung index. According to the Frontiers in Cells and Development Biology Review, the available research suggests that curcumin administration could have both prophylactic and therapeutic effects on virus-induced pneumonia mortality. Furthermore, while human trials on curcumin for coronavirus is still lacking, in the light of its preventive and therapeutic role in viral infection and cytokine storms common to all viral infections, curcumin could conceivably be considered as an attractive, I'm getting the hiccups here, sorry, an attractive agent for the management for coronavirus infections. Research published in 2015 further supports the conclusions in Cells and Developmental Biology Review that studies curcumin suppression of cytokine release and cytokine storm found curcumin could be potential therapy for patients infected with Ebola and other dangerous viruses. So it's mainly respiratory related. So that's really good stuff. According to the authors, the activity of curcumin in suppressing multiple cytokines and its activity in experimental models of diseases and conditions associated with cytokine storm suggests it may be useful in the treatment of patients with Ebola and cytokine storm. Curcumin is poorly absorbed from an intestinal tract. However, intravenous formulations may allow therapeutic blood levels of curcumin to achieve in patients diagnosed with cytokine storm. How to get the most of the curcumin supplement? If you want to use curcumin, be aware that its poor absorption rate is one of its greatest drawbacks. So, absorption rate is pretty poor according to this. While 4 formulations maybe solve the problem in clinical setting, that would be rather impractical for home use. Researchers have investigated a variety of different delivery methods, including oral, intravenous, subcutaneous, and intraperitoneal delivery. as well as variety of formulations to optimize bioavailability. The methods were found to improve the absorption rate of curcumin when delivered as a nanoparticle combined with pyolactic glycolic acid liposomal encapsulation. Since curcumin is a fat soluble, you might be able to further increase absorption by making microemulsion. To do that, combine 1 tablespoon of curcumin powder with 1 or 2 egg yolks and 1 or 2 teaspoons of melted coconut oil. Then use a high blender on a high speed to emulsify the powder. Interesting there. Timing is another variable. On the way to curcumin works to activate AMPK and autophagy. Both of these occur during the fastest state. So it would be best to take curcumin at least 3 hours after a meal or right before you go to bed. This would be similar for other powerful anti-COVID supplement, Curcumin, which would also be taken while fasting and preferably with zinc. Help end the practice of fluoridation. There's no doubt about it. Fluoride should not be ingested. Even scientists from the EPA's National Health and Environmental Effects Research Laboratory have classified as a chemical having substantial induced developmental toxicity. Interesting there. So, furthermore, according to the screenings conducted for the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, 65% of American descendants now have dental fluorosis, unattractive discoloration and mottling of the teeth that indicate overexposure to fluoride from 41% a decade ago. Clearly, children continue to be overexposed in their health development. Put in jeopardy. Why? The only real solution is to stop arrogant practice of artificial water fluoridation in the first place. Fortunately, the Fluoride Action Network has a game plan to end fluoridation worldwide. Clean, pure water is a predicate to optimal health. Industrial chemical, drugs, and other toxic additives will have no place in our water supply. So please protect your drinking water and support fluoride-free movement by taking a tax-deductible donation to Fluoride Action Network today. Interesting. So it gives you plenty of other things in here on the fluoride. So that's advertising on Fluoride Alert Network. Yeah, take initiative on that, folks. But it's true. It's very interesting about curcumin. And like I said before, every high-tech gadget has a flaw. Or every virus, infection, has a flaw or the Achilles heel. And that's why Mother Nature is a lot more complex than what we know. And I don't care if you believe in God or not. It's just a fact. This is why I don't wig out. But you gotta remain vigilant. I know it's disturbing. A lot of people are out of work right now, including myself. I don't like it, but you know what? I keep my poise. I'm doing other things. Everyone's got to do the same, best they can. But this is good to know, and you should share this to your bureaucratic representatives, all right? So send this to your servants. Say, hey, check this out. I may do that. So I'm going to have fun, too, while I'm at it. All right, see what's going on here. Oh, wow. Whew, all right, time's flying here. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you know what? I want to call it a day on this one. I'm just getting a little bit sleepy. But that's all right. Did enough here for the day. I'd like to thank everyone for listening. Plus, feel free to download and share us throughout your social media networks. If you have any questions, comments, if you're saying something that's interesting I want to check out, whatever you do, please send your correspondence to the quorum. I will leave these 2 articles on my Spreaker page, and show some support. Donate to them. If you want to send me some love, you can hit me at paypal.me/Loki Luck number 3. Once again, thank you for your time. Plus, always remember that the demoniac resistance is healthy for the soul and can liberate humanity. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Keep on spreading the love. And may your guardian spirits be with you.